Tell you what.
We're big in Sweden. Alright, Derek, so you know what else is big in Sweden?
What's that?
Videos about coaches on the hot seat in the NFL. They're really into it over there. This episode is sponsored by Prips, the great tasting sports drink. Prips and Hips.
Been fresh since 1970.
You know what's hot?
What's that?
Hot seats.
About as hot as the seat we're in because we're on location today.
We're on
location.
Something. We're on something. If this episode looks funny, it's because it is. But you know what else is funny? Coaches on the hot seat. It's actually not that funny. It's kind of, you know.
I'll tell you. All right. So we have two coaches already gone so far this NFL season, both deservingly so. Denver, Mike, as a Denver fan, you can say the Josh McDaniels had the writing on the wall from the moment in time in which he was hired. Now, recently, Frank Reich getting the boot. And all I can say is why? Like, this is just Carolina being Carolina and just going to be perpetually a terrible team. And what are they going to do? Go through a third rebuild? I mean, I just don't understand it. But the topic we're talking about today...
Do you know who the Panthers are, Dirk? They're your neighbors who put out the Christmas lights on, like, October 20th.
That was me.
That was
you.
Oh, well, thanks for firing Frank Reich. Because that's what the Panthers did. They didn't even let this guy get past, Halloween. And
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can't just can the guy that early on when he has a rookie quarterback who has no... Like, what is he supposed to do?
I mean, you're 11 games into the season. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But others that might be going the way of Prips. Let's talk about it, Mike. Teams that have potential...
Prips stock is up.
Teams that have potential hot seat. Coaches, let's go through them.
Yeah.
You cannot go past the worst team in the AFC without saying potentially Bill Belichick's years may be numbered in New England. That's the first and foremost I say is on the hot seat, at least for his GM position.
So he may be on the hot seat for the GM position, Dirk. You know what my wild card is, though? That Bill Belichick is pulling the George Costanza in that episode of Seinfeld where George is trying to get fired from the Yankees so he can go work for the Mets.
So he wants to work for the Mets. He wants to go back to the Browns.
No, he does not. He wants to go to the Los Angeles Chargers because Brandon Staley is burnt toast.
I'm there with you, Mike.
That seat is on fire.
How are the Chargers as bad as they are? Their record does not show how good that team is. You cannot have that many stellar pieces. Khalil Mack, Justin Herbert, I mean, even Keenan Allen in his later years playing Joey Bosa. You're right. I mean, you go down that list. Austin Eckler, I think, he can't be an every down running back. That's just kind of like the way Tony Pollard's going. You're realizing you can't have a guy that's literally with the same shape and frame as I am. That's not even over 180 pounds, and you can't have him be an every down back. Do you know what I'm saying? So my point here is that Chargers absolute hot seat. It has to be a hot seat.
It's on fire. He is being cooked and sautéed right now. That seat is... The Chargers and Bill Belichick could be a weird conspiracy theory that actually comes true.
Well, staying on the West Coast, then.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that the seat's not incredibly hot. It is not on fire. We're not, deep frying the turkey yet.
No.
But Pete Carroll's seat is getting warm. The Seahawks perpetually have turned into a pretty mediocre team. Now, you have Geno Smith as the quarterback, and people are starting to write him off again. He's just simply trying not to write back, but unfortunately that's not going to work this time. They're going to have to go a different direction.
Yeah.
I just think that seat's getting hot, or getting hotter. It's not incredibly hot, but I would say in the next year they're going to start looking elsewhere if he doesn't turn this thing around.
I think his is warm. I'm not going to put him on fire, though.
I will say it's hot.
It's hot. The Seahawks, if we look back, everyone was like, oh, Seattle fleeced the Broncos. Well, they ended up trading a bunch of, when Pokemon hadn't evolved and they had, the Charmanders or whatever that became the they got a bunch of Charmanders for Russell Wilson. That's what they got. So, that trade. I'll tell you who seat's on fire, Dirk.
Does it start with a B?
Rivera.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yes.
But that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. You cannot let Montez Sweat go and Chase Young go and expect to be a plus 500 team.
No.
So that's too bad. I mean, Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna also you gotta put Buffalo Bills. That seat
That
is getting hot, and if they don't make the playoffs, I think Scott McDermott's gone.
Sean McDermott.
I'm the worst.
Scott.
Yeah.
It's
gotta be Scott.
Yeah.
No one's gonna remember.
Great Scott. No, I think
that ain't
agree
gonna
with
work
you.
here anymore.
Sean McDermott getting hot, but I'll tell you one other person whose seat is getting hot who was involved with the Buffalo Bills, and that's Dable with the New York Giants.
I don't buy it.
I think it's gonna heat up.